Hi, I'm Nathan Oakley, and this is going to be some ramblings about trolls and trolling. So I set up to make this video, and all sorts of distractions, tired babies, and things of that nature. But Lucifer Tim dropped me a line while I was in the middle of actually making the last take, if you will, and I stopped and chatted to him. I liked him, and he and I got into quite an interesting conversation about people in general, and that was along the lines of something that I figured out in the 90s when I was in the chat rooms on AOL, normally trying to pull women. And what you found was there was lots of, let's call them trolls in inverted commas, so lots of trolls in the chat rooms of AOL and dropping people instant messages when they went through their profiles and such like. And they'd do the normal trolly things, be abusive, be rude. Normally it was sexual, if I'm honest. And that was kind of one of the rules I put into dating advice for guys and girls. Don't talk about sex, try and avoid it until it comes up naturally. But that was what people wanted to troll with. They wanted to troll about what people were wearing. If it was guys, what girls were wearing, what underwear they had on. And that was the type of trolling that you would be subjected to if you were just there in a random chat room chatting about anything. It didn't matter. People don't tend to change. And the same applies in Flat Earth. People are people. There are no trolls. Trolls are a imaginary thing. It's like a monster underneath a bridge. The magic of editing. So, people are people. It doesn't matter whether they're disagreeing with you or asking what you're wearing. At the end of that keyboard, it's just a person. A person with fingers and issues and woes and strife and joy and happiness and all the things that people have. And the fact that they're in your chat trolling doesn't necessarily mean that they're a bad person deep down inside. What it does mean is that they've got access to the internet and the million miles of fibre syndrome, i.e. you can't see my face, therefore I can ask you what you're wearing. And it's nonsense, just because you've got a million miles of fibre between you and the other person doesn't mean you can get away with all and sundry, but it also doesn't mean that that's not a person at the other end. And there's a lot of people in our arena, Flat Earth, that are here for the long haul. They've been here for a long time, and many of them actually would define themselves as Flat Earthers in spite of the fact that they're trolling. They've possibly been naysaying with things because they are, in many cases, more subjective than some of the circle jerkers that we have in Flat Earth. They won't look at other evidence, they will simply listen to what they want and look for their own confirmation. And we all do it. I've found myself falling into the same traps. I did it the other day with likes and dislikes. I think Jaron had mentioned in one of his videos that if you didn't get more than if you got less than 10% thumbs down, your video would go to the homepage. And from what I could see, he was right. From watching and observing my thumbs up, thumbs down on my videos, it would seem that that was the case. But then you think, well, is that actually the case? And the reason I started questioning it, because again, of Jaron, he was on IPS's show, and he said that if you take something that someone says and then you repeat it, that's on you. You have to kind of go and confirm it for yourself, to go and do your own research. So I thought, well, this likes, dislikes, whether or not they have an influence, I don't actually know. I'm just taking somebody at their word. Let's go and have a little research and have a little look. And basically, YouTube don't publish the algorithm. There is no way of telling whether or not it's beneficial to you to have thumbs up or thumbs down. From what I could see from looking, it seemed like it definitely did have an effect. But the bottom line is, I didn't know. So I had to have a look, and it transpires that I was incorrect. It may or may not have an effect, whereas I was quite dogmatic about the fact that it did. In either event, I was, in that instance, trolling. Not necessarily got the right information. I'm stating stuff like I know, when in reality, I don't know. I'm human, I'm fallible, like everybody is fallible. And most people will try to subject others to their opinions when they're being suppressed, i.e. when they're being banned, they want to bang their drum even harder. And we have fans, people who are, subscribed to some of these channels with like 500 accounts, so they can very rapidly come back in with whatever clever name they've made up that day when they've opened a new YouTube account or 10. And they want to come in and they want to have their say. This is the bottom line. And these are some of the people that I've tried to converse with. Many of them I hate. Literally, I despise some of them. And the reason I hate some of them, Tim Osman being one of them, I'll converse with him quite pleasantly. I actually despise the guy, and there's a simple reason for that. Yes, talking in strong terms, isn't Duddy? Because he doxes people. That's the bottom line. Doxing, I don't agree with. I think it's a nasty way of going about being, hiring private investigators and researching other people because there's a million miles of fibre and they've decided to be a troll. I see it as, well, why does this person want to hang around so much? They're in more flat earth videos than I am. To me, that makes them a super fan. The fact that they're typing out nasty horribleness or saying cum farts in a chat just means that they've been told that they can't, and therefore they're going to do it incessantly until the end of each and every show. Now, I would argue at that particular moment with that particular troll, that particular person who's doxing people, that the thumbs up, thumbs down has a big impression on whether or not your video gets popular, and each time a troll gets banned, they're going to give it a thumbs down. And I don't know that, I can't confirm it. As I say, YouTube don't publish their algorithm, so I can only go on the psychological effects that, again, I've experienced firsthand. If you go into a video and it seems to have a disproportionate number of thumbs up, or even a lot of thumbs up, even if it still has a lot of thumbs down, you think, a lot of people don't like this video. And psychologically, it may affect how long you watch the video for, whether or not you share it, etc, etc, etc. But beyond that, it seems to make no difference. I can't categorically say that it won't affect your publicity if you don't get thumbs up, thumbs down. What I will say is that the people who are doing it are, as people like IPS would say, still engaging with your videos. And not knowing the YouTube algorithm, you don't know if engagement will push you up the rankings. Personally, I don't think so, from what I've viewed with my own videos and other people's when I've been monitoring what happens with their thumbs up, thumbs down. But to round this out with an actual point, the people behind the keyboard are the ones I'm interested in. Don't have to like them to be interested in them, and it doesn't mean I'm affiliated with them because I talk to them, but they're still just people. And Lucifer Tim would be an interesting person for me to chat with, probably about this very subject, the trolls and slash the people, because that's all they are. That's the perpetrators of the nastiness in the chats. And ultimately, I want to get to the bottom of why. In many cases, flat earthers want to troll the living daylights out of other flat earthers. Is it because they're simply being suppressed? And from chatting to some of these flat earthers, and I'm going to say that they're flat earthers, I know they are. I won't mention their names because I don't want to give them credit, because they are trolls. They will come in and spam people and put garbage into the chat room, disrupt things, say rude comments. But I know for a fact that in more than one instance, they are doing it because they are being banned. In other words, somebody with a wrench says, "You're not allowed to say that." And they turn around and say, "Screw you, I can do whatever I like. I've got 500 accounts and I will continue to do it indefinitely." It doesn't mean that they're necessarily a terrible person. Often, I've heard stories in the aftermath of people that I've gone after and gone, "You're a bad person." And they've gone, "Actually, no, I've met that person and they're totally different." Shocker, back to the 90s, with AOL and finding out when you actually met these people, which again I did frequently, that they weren't at all like they were online. They had a completely different persona. They just let certain aspects of their persona out, or personality out, when they had the ability to be anonymous, to get away with doing as they saw fit online with the anonymity of a million miles of fibre between them and the person that they're abusing. In reality, and I've heard this said by lots of other people, when you're actually in person with another individual, the tone is totally different. Again, this was part of the conversation with Lucifer Tim. I've invited him to come down to the Leamington Spa meetup on the 22nd of July 2017, and he was there at the Oxford meet as a flat earther, which he is no longer, which is fascinating to me. I've kind of heard some of his arguments now, and he, funny, I don't know, should I say this? I'm going to chat to him, so I don't care if he dislikes how I'm phrasing this. He can tell me off when he talks to me live. But, he's essentially saying, "I thought you were a fake. I thought you were just using YouTube or using Flat Earth to promote yourself on YouTube." And I went, "I am." It doesn't mean I don't think the Earth is flat, but that's just people's perceptions, and that interests me. For all I know, had I have not chatted to Lucifer Tim, a now anti-Flat Earth proponent, he might have gone to the assumption that I'm just here to troll people or troll people with flat earth. And that's his perspective. He sees us, the flat earthers, the nice ones even, as trolls. We're trolling the world with nonsense. It's just a joke. It's somebody's sick joke. So he sees flat earthers as having a psychopathical element. Is that the right word? In terms of how it's being perpetrated on the people. Just somebody with duper's delight. Obviously, I don't agree, but it's an interesting perspective when he's defining me as the troll. Well, there we go. Others would do the same, even if they're out doxing people. I don't see myself as a troll. I like to think I'm fairly open and honest, and I like to think that I can converse with people who disagree with me, even if they're spouting complete garbage in the chat. You've got to try and get on a level with everybody. That's the only way to progress things forward. And the fact that people disagree with us is perhaps the reason that Flat Earth is gaining as much momentum as it is. Having detractors, JLB would be a person that would definitely back this up. He's claiming that the Antonio Subrats debacle of late, with him slandering lots of other people who are putting on an event in the UK in 2018, is the best entertainment he's had. Yeah, JLB has triggered you, hasn't he, my darling? So he thinks that having that garbage on his screen is the best entertainment in Flat Earth, the only thing keeping him interested, in his own words. So that is the reality of the situation. People love drama. Trolling's part of the drama. It doesn't mean they're not people. It doesn't mean they don't deserve respect. It doesn't mean that they just don't necessarily just need counsel, that these people are actually disturbed in some way that makes them want to react somehow. And I'm not saying you pity people when they're complete... Oh, here we go. Timothy Hufford. Can I organise a hangout with you and me, Tim Osman and you? I've already told him I don't like Tim Osman. Now, I'll see him on shows. I wouldn't have him on my show. I wouldn't actually invite him on. Because of the same reasons I've just detailed. So I'm reading out a message from Lisa for Tim. But yeah, now I wouldn't give Tim Osman airtime. You know, I've chatted with him on other people's shows. But I think the guy's a despicable coward. I haven't changed my opinion. Anyway, it sounds like I've got a tired baby that needs to be gotten to sleep. What do you think? Would you have Tim Osman on your show, little chicken? No, I wouldn't. The guy's unpleasant. Yeah, I agree. Very unpleasant people I don't particularly like having on my show. Although I will still talk to them. I'm not going to get to end this video like in a nice way, am I? You're not going to let me. If you've survived through this much crying, thank you very much for watching. Oh, here we go. Another message. Let's see if I can entertain you while I read this. Tim Osman. Only if I can talk about music, though. Oh, okay. Well, whatever. No, I don't want Tim Osman on my show. Anyway, thank you for watching. I've been Nathan Oakley. I'll see you all in the next video.